there's anything that this movie made me regret, it was getting rid of my recorder instrument at some point in my life. I could not resist the urge to want to jam out to that thing after watching this movie. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Diligent Picks. Today I want to talk about an anime film that I have been anticipating for quite a while, and that is Ongaku, Our Sound. Now this was a film that was released in Japan in 2019, but it has finally come out in the US as of this year in 2021, and it was directed by Kenji Iwasawa and is based off the original manga of the same name. That was done by Hiroyuki Ohashi, who also helped write the screenplay with Iwasawa. Believe it or not, this film took 7 years to make, beginning production in 2012, and it is a labor of love from start to finish. The word Ongaku actually stands for music in Japanese, which definitely is the centerfold of this entire film. The film is about a high school student named Kenji, played by Shintaro Sakamoto, and his two friends Ota and Asakura, played by Tomoya Meino and Tateto Serizawa. One day Kenji just decides he wants to go ahead and start a band, so the three of them, having never played an instrument before in their lives, decide why not. After being praised by their friend Aya, voiced by Ren Komai, and then being encouraged to join the music festival by a fellow student named Marita, voiced by Kami Hiraiwa, the three decide why not. At this point, they are all in and just gonna go ahead and give it the best shot. That is, unless things might get in their way, such as, well, maybe laziness or just a friendly little rivalry between a fellow high school student, that being Oba, played by Naoto Takanaka. And that's about it for the plot, you guys. This film is very lighthearted and quick and just has this fun angle to it that I think a lot of people will really enjoy if you're able to give it a chance. Now, I think the only thing that might be stopping this film from getting a much more popular response than it's gotten so far is the animation style. I don't think it's for everyone, but it certainly is very well done. General anime fans might not recognize this as your typical type of film that they might be interested in, but then it even has more of a resemblance to something you might see out of a Western cartoon, Daria, Beavis and Butthead, or even home movies. One thing this film definitely has going for it is how short it is. It is only an hour and 11 minutes long. In some ways, that makes it a very quick and rewatchable film. In other ways, you might be asking yourself, could there possibly be more? I actually went away at the end of this going like, oh, that's it? We're done? Okay. But I think in that way, it's meant to be a pretty short film because it definitely plays out as if something that came straight out of some comics, which this definitely resembles a classic comic strip style. It's as if you might have stretched like a half-hour episode of a show like The Peanuts into a full-length film. Now, I went into this film with very high expectations, I guess, and I think even though I left maybe a little teeny bit disappointed, after watching the extras and learning more about how this film was made, I definitely grew a bit more appreciation. And after sleeping on it, I can say that I really enjoyed what this film had to offer. This film has been nominated for several awards. I know that it has been nominated for the Best Independent Feature at the Annie Awards, and it was submitted for the Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, although it did not end up getting into the top 5 nominations. With that, it has also won some awards within the last 2 years. But definitely the thing that this film has going for it, which I pretty much knew what to expect and definitely delivered on this end, was the comedy. This film is hilarious. It has this very fun, kind of unique deadpan style to it. A lot of the humor is kind of drawn out and just straight and to the point. That was consistent throughout the entire movie, and I think really holds it together, especially for this being that short of a film. If it wasn't funny, it definitely wouldn't have gotten as much praise as it has. But it's also very surprising in a lot of ways, especially in regards to the animation. In some ways it can be very simplistic, but then there were many instances throughout the film where it kind of explodes in different ways, and definitely makes you go like, oh wow, look at what they were able to do there. And I think what really makes that part of the film work is the fact that it actually was done in rotoscope, which is the art of doing just motion picture filming and then tracing over that in animation. And even though I knew about that going into the film, this might be the first rotoscope animation that I have seen. And once I got to look at some of the documentary and the special features going into this film, seeing how they did it, it definitely made me appreciate all the work that went into this. I'd say this is definitely a music lover's film, especially if you enjoy rock. You look at the poster and there's of course an ode to the Beatles with the Abbey Road. You know, this is definitely made for fans of music in general. Definitely rock and roll music, I guess I should clarify. Now, one thing some people may be disappointed by is that this film is actually only available in Japanese, but there is English subtitles as well as, I believe, Spanish. As someone who really enjoys watching hand-drawn animation in English, that part wasn't so much a disappointment to me because I could still enjoy the subtitles just fine, but I definitely would have loved the option to watch it in either or, which also gives this film even more rewatchability. And I can definitely see this movie having a great English dub. You know, fingers crossed that maybe GKIDS, the licensor for this title in the United States, could possibly be willing to do a dub at some point. And speaking of GKIDS, their Blu-ray is fantastic. The audio, the video, and all the extras. This is definitely a pickup that you want to get if you're a fan of collecting anime or just, you know, great Blu-ray releases in general. It's got pretty much everything you want. And I will show it right here for those of you for a second. Yes, it definitely is one that I will be keeping and I would like to watch again with several friends or a few people, because I think it definitely warrants a watch with more than one person, especially being a comedy, which always kind of elevates things a little bit more. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see this film in theaters because of the pandemic, you know, last year and ongoing. I hope that this film does garner sort of a cult classic following at some point. I can definitely see it being that type of movie. I think the only thing it really has going against it is what demographic it's really for, because I think you have an anime film that doesn't really resemble your typical anime film, and then you have people who maybe aren't into anime but like the animation style. So, you know, I think the only thing it's going to have difficulty is finding the right audience for it, but once it does, it certainly could reach a cult status, and I highly recommend checking this film out. It is really fun and a light watch to just chill out and enjoy. With that, I would give this film a 4 out of 5. It is not something that I love at this point, but I could see myself after more rewatches possibly liking it even more, and I hope to see it again someday, and I really hope some of you get a chance to check it out. And that's why this film is a diligent pick. So guys, what did you think of Angaku Our Sound? Is this a film that I've now intrigued you to check out? I'd love to hear what other anime films or other animation that might be a little different, weird, or, you know, not quite your average type. Please let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. As always, my name is Dylan, and if you love entertainment, subscribe to my channel while this video ends and send me a thumbs up before you go. Thanks for watching, and stay diligent.